Welcome to the Becoming Podcast, presented to you by JCI Bulawayo, Gontutu Zatul, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwean entrepreneurs with Zimbabwean money, Zimbabwean problems, solutions, and discussions in a country with a rich cultural heritage and interesting stories to tell. Join me, your host, Uromilongwe, Ustela Sabakwena, as we have powerful conversations with Zimbabwe's entrepreneurs and Zimbabwe's money. So let's make money and have fun.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first episode of the Becoming Podcast, where we discuss entrepreneurship and money with entrepreneurs and moneyed individuals. There's a popular myth that moneyed individuals dress like the average person, and as you can see, our guest is dressed as such. Mr. Chris, welcome, sir, to the Becoming Podcast.
Thank you very much.
We thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence, for you to come and share your insights and your knowledge. And first and foremost, congratulations for being the first guest of the Becoming Podcast. And we thank you so much for making the time this year. So may you please just give us a brief about yourself, what you do, where you come from, just a brief introduction for the audience.
Okay, that's all right. So my name is Chris Jr. Nyamajiva. Yes, a lot of people get that wrong, but it's okay. What am I? I'm an engineer by profession, but I'm a governance enthusiast by passion. So basically what I do is we run a company called Changa Media Solutions. What we do is we offer maintenance services for industrial compressors. We also deal in pneumatic systems and in hydraulic systems. Basically, what makes the industry run, we offer maintenance for those services. We also offer sales and services, spare parts, you name it. They're just there, right? So that's what I do professionally. I'm an industrial engineer, graduated at NAST. Yes, then on the side, I'm also the regional director for the Institute of Public Policy and Diplomacy Research. It's an organization based in New York City. Basically, it's all about governance. What we do basically is we spread the word on governance, right? On rules, how rules help make the world run, and also on letting people know their rights, right? And how, basically how the world works, and so that we equip the average person to know how things are supposed to be done, where they're supposed to be done, your digital rights, your rights when it comes to the environment, health, everything on that platform. That's what we do. So this is me on the side, passion. Then on the career side, I also do that.
Amazing.
Yes.
So how do you manage your time between the two? Do you operate on the passion part-time and the full vocation full-time, or sometimes you can just juggle them the best way you can depending on the situation?
Truth be told, I suck at managing time. I will not lie to you.
Okay.
So now the problem is with these things, how do I put it? Half of the things, they just happen impromptu, and then you have to work with what you have. But what I usually do is I dedicate the day to professional stuff, then the night to passion. So because if I was to say I would take the professional stuff and put it at night, I would definitely go to sleep. So because passion is what I have, I usually put it at night because I know I will not sleep. But during the day, I just mainly focus on what's supposed to bring money to the table, what's supposed to feed me. Then at night, the enthusiasm, what then drives me to become who I am, I do it at night because I know definitely I will not sleep.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so for today,
Yes.
I want to delve more into your professional vocation and what you do in your day-to-day life, right?
Okay, that's all right.
I'm more interested in your career in industrial engineering. So
Okay.
the first question I have for you is, what made you go into industrial engineering as a career?
I went to NAST, I applied, I wanted electronic engineering, I did not get it. So I was told the best option that we can offer you here is industrial engineering. Honestly speaking, right, when it comes to a career choice, I want to say it was fate because I did not know that I was going to do industry. I had a passion for electronics. That's what I wanted. But then I couldn't get through because I think of my A-level points. I'm 18 points or something. I don't know what happened.
Right.
So from there, it just went into industrial engineering, right? First started as I'm just doing this degree to get it over with. But then with time, it just got interesting. So from there, when I was in my third year, I was doing what you call a parallel program. So I was attending at night. So because of that, I would work with guys who are coming from industry, mainly that's the guys that I meet in class, right? And then I met this other friend of mine who's now my business partner. He's not around because I think he's preparing to defend his project somewhere.
Okay.
So when I met him, then the one who then told me that where you're going, there are not jobs. That was the first statement that he told me. I'm like, but you are working. So how do you tell me there are not jobs when you're working? I was like, I just do this to continue moving because I have 2 kids. That's the only reason why I'm in industry. But when you go to work, there's people who not treat you the way you think you'll be treated. I know you still have passion, enthusiasm, but this is a Zim.
Right.
You really need to consider this. So I propose to you that we start something now. It might not get anywhere, but we can start it now and build traction. By the time you are done with your degree, I can guarantee you something would come out. And just like that, we started our company, not even registered, nothing. And then it's interesting how you'll be going to Belmont, knocking on people's offices and then saying, I offer this service, and they ask you, why should we trust you? I mean, you're just you.
Right.
A kid from varsity, don't even have a qualification. You're just coming here to touch our machines. What happens when you break our machines? You see? And that's Zim, man. And then you're wondering, and it's office after office after office. You would walk, but you don't even have a car. You bought R5 by chicken in there by Hyper. You go to Belmont, spend all day moving around trying to get customers. So at first, I think I almost gave up in my final year because I was like, this is a total waste of time. Let me just brace it and see if I can get a job or, go abroad. Everyone is going abroad. I might as well just go abroad, right?
Right.
But then, it just kept pushing until eventually we got our first client. So it's usually that first client that really then, gives you that thing to keep continuing. So I would say, basically, I did not answer your question, did I?
No, you did.
Why did I venture into industrial engineering?
Yes.
Right. The first thing is money, of course.
Yes.
We all want money. We want soft life, And then, of course, when you're inside, I don't know. Maybe I guess because I really just wanted to be an engineer, right? That thing. It's a thing to just fix broken things. You see, and also when you start school, you'll be thinking being an engineer is being a mechanic. I don't know. I think Abonga was like you don't have that mentality to know what exactly being an engineer is. So you just go and be like, I want to go fix broken things. No, that's what I'm thinking because that's what I see. But then when you're there, you then get to understand that there are systems, right? It's a whole new world. I think for me, it was now more of the passion of exploring these systems, making them more efficient and making them more better. So I would say being an industrial engineer then grew on me as I was in 3rd, 4th year. But beginning, I was just doing it to finish school.
Well, given the difficulty within this country, right?
Yeah.
It seems like every person that goes to school in this country, it's either they go abroad, or they get a job, or they choose to work for themselves and become self-employed. What led you to make the decision that, maybe getting a job isn't necessarily working. I'm going to become self-employed. I'll start my own company and do my own thing. What led you to that?
It's funny how everything then goes back to money.
Because truth is, it's all about money.
It's all about money,
There's
right?
no reason to do anything if there's no
So
money,
I think mostly what I saw was during my attachment years, I'll be seeing my boss, who's the engineer, and I accidentally saw his payslip. It was depressing. It was depressing. I hope he never watches this. But the guy was getting, I think, $400. Right? He's running a big plant and he's getting $400. And but then it was a bond and a bond component. But the man, you'll be looking at it and be like, is this my future? Is this me? When you're getting it on attachment, you usually don't care. Like, it's good money. But then the money now becomes the biggest motivator to say, if I am to be employed, right, and I am to get what others are getting because of the competition, right, companies don't really care, especially because they know that if they lose you, they'll just find another one. I mean, we are 95% unemployed after all, so they know that they'll just pick from the pool, right? So they usually don't negotiate salaries and all that.
True.
Secondly, I traveled out of the country. I went to, Ethiopia?
Yes.
And I saw the living conditions of foreigners there. Been to South Africa, saw the same thing. I think I also saw it in Kenya. I saw it in Saudi. the living conditions of foreign, as much as they argue and say Kapilega is better out there, is because of we are going there out of desperation.
Yes.
Right? And so you are then forced to say, I might as well as make this work because that's what I have.
Yes.
But in all honesty, guys, home is the best. Right?
Yes.
So I was like,
I know I'm supposed to be neutral, but I actually
home is the best.
Yes.
So I was like, hey, let's see if, because like we'd already started something, right? This is in third year. So I was like, let's just see if this thing continues, and then whatever it comes in, if it fails, guaranteed I'll join my fellow engineers out there.
Yes.
But for now, let's just see. And fortunately, it started working out. So I would think, yeah.
Yeah, I'm also convinced that
Yes.
home is always best. People have been trying to force me to leave the country, but I'm just not convinced that the grass is greener out there, because I hear a lot of funny stories.
Yeah.
But what I'm now also interested in is, of course, there's the money component.
Yes.
I'm also interested to know, outside of the money,
Yeah.
was there a particular problem that you wanted to address once you were in the field?
So the biggest problem that we have, this is me speaking from an engineering perspective, right?
Yes.
The biggest problem that we have in almost all industries that I've been to, right? What's the word? It's a Shona word, museum, right? Most companies are being run like tuck shops, genuinely. It's like instead of like doing the proper thing, and half, if not all of these industries that we see there, they're being run like tuck shops, basically. Right?
Yes.
There's people just trying to do production as fast as possible and sell their produce. Half of the industries out there, it's an industry secret, by the way, they just get their stuff from China. They come and rebrand and finish branding here, and then they sell it to you.
China
right?
runs the world right now.
China runs the world. So the idea was then try and bring back that actual engineering aspect, right? To say, as much as we have to adapt to the new world, right, we are skewing or running away from the basic principles of running something, right? So the passion for me would be to say what I want to really solve, to say, let us not let, this is one of my former lecturers say, let us not let accountants, no offense to accountants, run the industry, right? Because all their main purpose is to cut costs, right?
Yes.
But let's actually put the people who understand how those things work to actually run those things. You can't expect an accountant to know how these big generators or these big, how they work. And they just know that that thing is eating up a lot of money. You see? So the idea was to then say, I personally want to be able to run a place so that I can show people that if you put the right people, or if you put, by me being saying the right people, I think I'm feeling like I'm now being biased towards engineers. I'm not necessarily saying engineers are the right people, right? But I'm saying that the way companies are being run right now, they are mainly being dominated by accountants, right? And their primary objective is to cut down on expenses, right? But on the other hand, we need people who actually have the hands-on to kind of run this thing, right? So that's for me, that's what I want.
So basically, like in the engineering field,
Yes.
it's best that you have engineers handling the ups and downs
Yes.
of the business instead of
Exactly.
accountants,
Yes.
right? Maybe an accountant is okay, maybe if you want to have your tax clearance done,
Exactly.
or you want to settle your issues with Zimra.
Yes.
But in as far as the day-to-day running of a
Day-to-day
business,
running of the business, let the people who trained for it do it, right? They are also doing their job, let them focus on their job.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it leads me to my next question,
Yeah.
to say, like, then what do you have a structure in your company that you prefer, or are there any alternatives that engineers can use to run their company? Say you want your accountant out of the business, or you want him within the business, or the head engineer is the one who calls the shots, or the handyman. What kind of structure do you think is best for your company specifically?
Okay. So I take from Elon Musk, right?
Yes.
He said, well, I've seen it work, right? He says that a meeting with more than 5 people is not a meeting. Basically, it's just us coming here to talk and then going back. It's not productive.
Okay.
Right? So I believe in being as minimal as possible, right? Cutting down on it. You know, you go to a company and you see a huge organogram. Director, deputy director, you know, it's a whole list of people, right?
Yes.
And it kind of just kills down on the efficiency of the company, right?
Yes.
Also,
Pun intended.
for me personally, I believe on cutting costs, right?
Yes.
The stingier you are, the more successful you become, right?
Mm.
In the sense Yaguti, it's 2025, guys, right?
Yes.
We usually use a lot of tools. There are a lot of tools that you can use out there to kind of cut down on work that you would need people to be doing, right? So for me, I rely on software and systems, right? I have my software that I use for accounting. Basically, I think, yeah, all my tax clearances are done by a system, right? All of that is done by a software, right? And that's me.
Right.
That's the structure that I do, right? But what I would encourage people out there is to say, no matter how big, or no matter if you are planning on starting something, right? Make sure that you cut down on roles and people, right? Let's just stick to a very small executive or whatever you call it, right? It's more efficient. It gets the job done. As much as we want to say we want diversity and whatnot, right? Just cut down the circle, make it very small. You will see the efficiency because it's easier for accountability sake, right? For example, here, just us, right? It's easier if we were to start or we are running something. It's easier for me to then ask the cameraman, what did you do? You were supposed to record. I can ask you, you were supposed to interview, and I was supposed to then give you the answers, right? So already it's accountability. But imagine in a case where it's 10 of us here, right? And then maybe there are 3 interviewers, right? Yes. It's now difficult to say who was supposed to ask about gender. Then you look and say, all of you look each other in the eyes and like, I was, no, you were not. We start pointing fingers, right? Yes. But if it's only you, we know it's you. So cutting down, making it as small as possible, then you eventually progress.
Okay. Yeah. Well, is there an option to expand in the event that, say, you're now making a lot of money? Let's say you see the profits going up, and say you want to expand your company. Do you then consider adding more people and adding more roles, or you still try to keep it as tight-knit as possible?
Right. Expand. How would we want to expand? So it now, I think, depends on how we would want to expand, right? For example, with us expanding, maybe means getting a bigger plant, right? Or getting more branches, right? So let's say we are getting more branches. Of course, you can never run 7 branches on your own. That's now something else. So you can't run more than that. So you then eventually need to diversify. But I feel like if, let's say, we're expanding in terms of branches, right? Just copying the same structure that we have and inserting it on another branch would work well, right? Copy paste, right? Then if you're saying we're expanding, going bigger, that now makes sense to say we can add in new roles. But what I'm definitely against this whole story of director, deputy director too. I feel like if we're gonna get a director for something, let's just stick with one person. No, it doesn't need deputies. I was now getting political, but I was seeing the parliament of Namibia, if you saw it, right? The new president, she was like, we're cutting off on all deputy directors. We're cutting down our cabinet. I think the cabinet was like, what was it, 16 or less than that? Just ministers, no vice, no what, just you, so that it's easier for us to not run for accountability in such cases. So it makes more sense for us to always have the person that's responsible, because these days I have a chain of command, so we can always just be pushing the blame, and we don't get anywhere when we're just blaming people. So at least if we know that you are responsible, we just start with you. So it's simple.
That's fine. Yeah. So I want us to move into a more generalized perspective.
Okay.
I would like your general views, and as far as entrepreneurship
is concerned,
and the economic landscape of things, and how as an entrepreneur you can thrive in this country, right?
Okay.
So I'm curious.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, as a man who's successful, you wouldn't be here if you weren't, honestly. Right? So I'm wondering, if you were to educate someone, what are the rules to thrive in Zimbabwe's economic landscape? Do you think there's a playbook or a set of rules and a set of do's and don'ts that you're supposed to go along with if you're trying to be an entrepreneur in this country?
So basically your question is how to survive Zimbabwe.
Yes. Because we're all trying to survive.
My friend.
And
Yeah.
Everybody knows that we have to survive.
Yeah, true.
But what they don't know is what are the rules to surviving that.
So Zimbabwe is a very, very tough jungle. All right, let's use the word tough. Right? It's a very tough jungle. Right, it's very tough.
Yes.
And just basically surviving is tough. I'll give you an example of a vendor, for example, right?
Yes.
Someone they start selling, and here we know that early in the morning you would see city council trucks. They're running after vendors, right? Already, that's something that's gone. That's the person loses all of their stuff and business is gone, and then they have to redo it again. You look at maybe these guys who are running these malls, these small shops. Like these days, Zimra is lucky on their neck, right? Because they need to regularize with Zimra, declare where they are getting their products and all that, right? We have your usual motorist on the roads, right?
Yeah.
Police are here. You need to. So with Zim, I think there is too much legislation. Right? A lot of rules that you need to survive, right? Some of these rules, yes, they are supposed to be enforced, but I feel like maybe authorities are just being tough for no reason. These are things that you can just give a side eye and then you continue moving, right? But anyway, to survive Zim, the first step is to do your basic legislation, your basic registrations, right? Tax clearance is for free. You can go by, I think Zimra's office is by Mhlashangela. If you're in Bulawayo, you go there, you ask, those guys are paid for that. You go and you ask them and you bother them. Now there is terms, so it's a new system called terms. Everything I think is done online. You can do your it's terms. Yes, it's a Zimra system. It's online. You can log in, register your company, and all that, then you be doing your tax clearance there. So basically what they've done is they've made the portal easier so that, it's basically you'll be filling in questions and then the system will do the taxes for you. But then you get your tax clearance or how much you owe, you go and you pay it your bank and then you're done with Zimra. Right. So the first thing is, if you are going to do something that's legit, right, sort your way with Zimra, because Zimra is going to bother you one way or the other, right? Our first problem when we started is that we would send quotations to big companies, right? And then the problem is the big companies will be like, you don't have a tax clearance, right? You are not registered, right? So we're not going to give you this, right? We go and we register. And then they'll be like, right, now you're registered, but you don't have tax clearance. So the law says we need to withhold 30%. So imagine you got a job, maybe it pays you, let's say 1,000 in revenue, right? You remove about maybe 400 from expenses and all the other things to get the job done. You are saying, I'm running profit is 600, right? And then the company will be like, no, we are taking 30%. We're taking it on behalf of Zimra, because that's the law. They have to do that, because if Zimra then comes and does audits on them, they have to prove that when they gave us the job, we had tax clearance. Right? If they can't now, it's on the annual. So that's why you notice how these big companies, all of them, they have debts and they have money that are supposed to be paid to Zimra and all this drama that's happening online, right? It's because of these small things. So I believe if you try to engage big clients, you need to be a bit serious about it. Registration, tax clearance, always. Those are the small things that you need to be working around, right? Then there are times where maybe you don't have any money to do all of that, because sometimes it might cost money or you need to pay and then you have nothing, right? That doesn't mean that you don't have to work, right? That one now needs your resilience to say, how good am I at the Shona way to be visa? Yes. So how good are you in trying convincing these guys to say, I can do this, I can offer this? Then thirdly, you see social media. It's not there for you to post your pictures. We don't care. We can like them. It's okay, right? But that thing, for me personally, I think was designed to give your business a push that it needs, right? Interestingly, with our business, right, the first thing that we got was a website before we got a lot of things. The first thing that we had was a website. And then we created a Google profile. And then when clients see your profile, the next thing that they go to is a website, right? And then you create your email with your domain, right? Instead of saying at gmail.com, you need to make sure that it's at oldwitchhall.com, at something.com. That gives your thing legitimacy, right? Such that when I come and search for your company online, or even when you send me an email, the moment you send me at gmail.com, I have Indians that are sending me at gmail.com, right? And I really would not think twice saying this is a scam or this is something. So I wouldn't advise you to say, because opening a domain and registering, I think it should cost you $2 a month.
Okay.
To run your emails at trevor.com, right? $2 a month. That means that's like what, $24 a year. You pay for that and you have your emails. They are hosted. I think there's another dollar that's supposed to be paid to these guys that if you want to do a .co.zw, right? It's that simple. So you have spent $25 on registering your just emails.
So $25 a year.
Yeah,
a
year. Your emails running.
Your emails ready.
Yes.
Wow.
So now, if you have emails, you are now legit, right? You can now compete in the landscapes of at zb.com, at nrz.com, because you are playing on the same wavelength, right? You create a website. Websites, they go depending on the person, but once off, you can get a website for as little as $60. Yes, $60, $80, you get a 2-page website. It doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to show your products, your service, what you do. It's simple, straightforward, right? Okay. In the age of AI, you can literally create a website on your own. You see, so the moment you do that, right, and then you push, of course, your social medias, Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, you create those pages, right? Those are all free, right? All of this is the first step to creating a presence. The moment you do that, even when you engage a client, when they research about you, right, your name will appear. They search there on Google, it will appear someone, and they can click and they can see, right? People believe on what they see. Right, that's why we have a challenge with religion.
I know. I feel that.
Yeah.
And may this be educational to those that are watching. All you need is $85 to set your things up. $25 for your
emails,
your tax clearances.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And for your domains.
For your domains,
and emails and such. Right. Then $60 for the website.
Yes.
Right. A lot of us spend more than $100 in the weekend on alcohol only.
Yes.
So you can afford to spend some money on yourself to invest in your business, right? I believe we can do that. So, interestingly enough, though, the next question that I would like to know is, I think we've heard this for a number of years.
Yeah.
As people that have gone to school,
Mhm.
gone to varsities, and gotten our degrees, diplomas, and such. How far true is it that it's not what you know, but it's who you know? We don't have to mention any names. We're just addressing the concept of that.
So, in the context of Zimbabwe, right? This is specifically of Zimbabwe.
Yes.
I would argue and say that's at a 90%.
That's 90%.
Yeah, and Zim basically it's not about what you know and who you know, right? An example would be tenders and whatnot, such as
right.
out there, right? Because this is a Zimbabwean problem, right? This is not a global problem, right? In an ideal situation, a normal situation, right? It will always be about what you know, because skill will always be better than the people you know. But because of the abnormality of our economy, I would argue and say it's all about who you know. Because I can say I've gotten a job or I've gotten a client, right? And then they decide, no, I'm going to give my Mzuku, right? You know, and then for example, there's this other client that we worked with. So we had done all the due diligence and we were almost ready to start working. The director of the company comes and is like, no, I now want these guys. Turns out those guys were like his people, right? Fortunately for us, they failed to do the job and we eventually just got in. And then that proved that skill is still more important than the people you know, right? So in the context of Zim, I would say, like I said, right, it's about who you know, but that does not mean that you have to give up, right? Yes. Just keep trying. There's still good guys out there, right? You keep trying to get the job done, you know, and keep trying to find. Because the problem that we have, I think our generation, we give up too fast, man.
We do.
We are so depressed. I think we're depressed from birth. We just come into this world, you know, we're just giving up. We feel like this world owes us something. It does not.
Right.
It does not. So the best way to survive here is to wake up, brush your teeth, go to combi, come to town, try again, try again, and try again. Eventually it will manifest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even in a situation where it is who you know,
Yeah,
you should make sure that you also know
exactly.
what you're doing.
What you're supposed to do, yeah.
You can't just go in depending on your uncle.
Yes,
You know what I'm
your
saying?
uncle can give you the job, but then it turns out you can't even do it.
Yeah.
Now your uncle is out of his job as well.
I know, understood.
Yeah.
Now, the next one is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
from your perspective, what is money? And what are the rules that go with it?
First of all, don't take company money and give to your girlfriends. Never. No matter what happens,
Yes.
never use company money
Yes.
for personal things, right? You will go broke. What is money?
Yes.
For me, I think we call the mama kiwa harungu. That's the money. Because what I do, for example, if I can get 3 clients or 4 clients, right, I can survive the whole year on those 3, those 4, right? I can go 2, 3. Right now, I'm still surviving on a client that we got in March, right?
Wow.
And then we'll just wait for them. Then we recur, we redo again, because with machines there's always breakdowns, and then you have to do it again, right? And so for me personally, money is the relationship that I build with clients. I try by all means to make sure that me and my client, we have this very close personal relationship, and I don't necessarily have to do this thing of bothering them every morning. Hey, good morning. No. But whenever we meet, right, on business, you try by all means to make sure that this guy does not forget my name. Maybe I talk a lot, it might be a skill, but the idea is to make sure that my client never forgets me. Such that every time, even if it's because what they usually do is sometimes they even bring a job that's not in my scope. I'm like, no, we have this thing. We know you don't do this, right? But we're thinking maybe you might be able to do it, given that you said you can do various projects, right? Some guy came with a civil engineering project. This is construction. I know nothing about construction. And then comes like, no, I want you guys to do this thing for me. If it means you guys will outsource people or whatever, I don't care. The point is I want it to be done by you guys.
Okay.
You see? So this is because of the relationship that we've built. So if it's money, it's the relationship that you keep with your clients, because those guys will keep bankrolling you.
Okay.
And then it gets to a point where they don't even second guess or question what you quote them. It gets to a point where you're just blindly writing 20,000, and then you look aside, and then you just see approved. You see.
Okay.
So that's the whole thing basically.
All right. So say you have an aspiring entrepreneur who comes to you, and they want to start a company. How would you advise them to go about it? Loan or investor? Or in rare cases, even both?
Right, chances of you getting a loan in Zim if you're an entrepreneur are very low, because already you're saying you want to get a loan, you have nothing. The first reason that you got into entrepreneurship is because you have nothing, right?
Yes.
So the idea is, if you have the resources to get a loan, why not? Right?
Yes.
But now with most banks, I've noticed they don't really give a lot of money. So if you're getting a loan, you will not get anything above 5K. I highly doubt.
Okay.
You will not. At most 1,000. Usually we used to work with Empower Bank, right? Empower Bank can give you loans, right? But you will notice that their loans, I think, maximum up to 1,000. They will tell you, come, give us your phone, it's okay, right? They don't take it from you, they just write it down. In case you fail to pay, then they'll do a visitation and then they'll take it from you. They'll say, we know you need to do a business, right? So continue with your phone.
Okay.
But then we'll always be doing follow-up so that we know where our money is going. And if you then fail to pay back our money, we get your phone. That's the whole idea with such banks, right? Because their purpose is to empower young people, right? So if the resources are there for you to say, I have collateral for a loan, get a loan. But the problem is, Zim is very risky. But then again, any business is very risky, right? I have a friend of mine that synced, I think, close to 6K. He started a school, put in a lot of money. I think for him, in his case, the landlord noticed that he was making more money than what he was paying for. And then she was like, no, we now want to change the venue. We no longer want to use it for a school. We want to use it for something else, right? And this is someone that is invested something close to 6,000.
Wow.
In terms of buying furniture, resources, paying staff, and all that, right? So anything can happen. and you have taken a loan. Imagine you took a loan, 6K, no plan. So your whole plan is gone, right? You no longer have anything to do. Now you have to think really fast. You have nothing. You are at minus 6,000, right? So you took a loan. It's a 50-50. It might work out. It might not. Investors, on the other hand, problems with the investors is that most of them want to control the business, right? So if you are getting an investor, make sure that you draft a contract that says, "Iwewe, you want your money back, I'll give you your money back." If we're agreeing on the power of control that you have, right? I need to limit you to this and this. I can't have an investor coming in every day and telling me, "Why is the roof painted blue? I want it green." You see? And then I'm like, but the reason we painted blue is because it goes with our brand, right? So I can't. If you are getting investors, this sounds rude, but they need to know their place. They are there to give me money.
But you can even have an investor who knows nothing about engineering, right?
Nothing.
And they can try to control the way you do engineering.
True. So they come in, they give me their money, right? They see the business plan. Isn't I wrote a business plan, a model, I pitched it to them and they liked it, right? They see the business, then we agree on how, if they are getting shares, if they are getting their money back with percentage, with interest after a while, we agree on that, right? But at the same time, we make sure that they don't have power over me. As much as it's their money that's doing the work, I'm also the one who's actually doing the work. And the moment I start listening or doing what they're saying, or them controlling the business, right, we might end up going off road and then we both lose money. And then they hate me.
Oh, okay. Understood.
Yeah.
So my next question is based on some interesting event that I attended a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lady who asked this question: if things really are as bad as they are in Zim, in which in some cases they are, well, how are other people thriving? And I asked that question from this perspective. A couple of years ago, I've always been asking this question, like, if things really are as bad as they are in this country, for example, we're in Bulawayo right now, every day I see 100+ luxury cars. I don't know what car you drive, but every day I see more than 10 Raptors, more than 10 Land Cruisers. These are high-end cars. We see BMs and Mercs practically every day we jump into town. Expensive cars. So one of the prevailing myths is that in Zim there's no money.
Yes.
But it seems like there's a lot of people with it. So I would like to ask you, as an entrepreneur that's been active in this economy, what are the prevailing myths that you've heard from, say, the average person, or from people that run businesses, like the one that says in Zim there is no money? I don't know if there is or there isn't, but based on what I see day in, day out, I believe that's a myth. And you as an entrepreneur, do you think there's other prevailing myths out there that we need to stop believing in and start empowering ourselves and changing our mindsets?
So this one is very controversial, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Right?
This is a safe space.
Yes. So our first, as much as we can argue and say there is bad governance in Zim, it's true. Right? I chose bad governance very carefully. Right?
Yes.
There is bad governance in Zim, right? Yes. There are a lot of policies that need to be changed, a lot of rules, because it's no longer a fair playground, basically, to say, right? But a problem that we have, I feel like even if we are putting an ideal economy, right, our mindset is always to blame the government. Right?
Yes.
As much as, yes, they need to sort out their issues, right? The first step is the government owes you nothing. And like, no one owes you anything, basically, right? You know, growing up, I always had this thing saying, I grew up poor, I'm going to be very rich when I grow up. You know how you watch movies and then the poor guy always ends up as the rich guy, right? I feel like half of us have that mentality one way or the other. Say, I grew up in a poor environment, you know, in karma. It will sort me out. I'm going to be very rich. A friend of mine once lost their girlfriend, right? And they're like, hey, this girl is going to suffer because she cheated on me. He said we can talk about girls. This girl and he said, this girl cheated on me, so she's going to suffer. You know, wishing all of that. The girl was successful, man. Got married to a white guy, went out of the country. She's living the best life. Like, letting him go was the best decision in her life, right?
sorry to the guy that unfortunately got
Yes.
dumped, but it's a cruel world
Yes,
out here.
as much as that sounds bad, man, right? It's still no one owes you anything, right?
Yes.
So I think for me, it's just that one myth to say just because life has been cruel, it's going to get better and I'm going to be very successful, I'm going to be very rich. I've met cruel people, they're going to meet bad things in this world. Nothing works like that, right? What works here is you and your hard work. But you wake up, you try again, you wake up, fine, we're Africans, we still believe in Mimoya and all those other factors, right? To some extent, yes, they do play a role, right? All of those other things, but basically, it's just you sticking to one routine, right? Waking up and going and trying again. I will tell you that when we started this thing, like I told you that we would be going to Belmont, right? This is our what? Oh, officially, this is our second year registered, right? But before registration, should be our fourth year. And of the first 3 years, before we even registered, the money that we made was, I think, from one, if not two jobs, and it's not more than $100.
Wow.
You see, but this is something that I could have said I'm giving up on. I don't want anymore. I'll just stick to finding, or I'll go to town and also start selling with other guys, or do this and that and all that. So for me, it's just that you gotta keep trying, man.
Okay.
You gotta keep trying.
So earlier in the conversation, I spoke about people who spend $100+ in a weekend on alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Instead of investing in their businesses. Entrepreneurship also comes with a lot of pressure, right? And a lot of noise that can keep you stunted.
Yeah.
The last question that I want to ask, which is just a free question, like, what do you do to have fun? I mean, it's a long day, it's been a long week, a client doesn't want to give you your money,
You're tired.
You're tired, so on and so forth. What do you, as a person, love to enjoy just to calm yourself down?
Right. Okay. I do a lot of things, right, for fun.
Yes.
Right. The first one, travel. Yeah, I mean, I love that sound that the jet engines make when the plane is taking off. Now, best feeling in the world. Best feeling in the world, going out.
Yeah.
Second one, of course, I spend a lot of time with friends, right? What do we do? Unfortunately, I don't drink. Right. Not because it's a bad thing. Drinking is a good thing, guys. Go and drink. Even the Bible says, give alcohol to those who have problems. Right? It's somewhere in Proverbs. So if you feel like you have problems, you're stranded, go and drink. Right? But anyway, I don't drink personally.
Right.
But braai, meat, those, just that. Going out at night, yeah, maybe, but we're Africans. We love our meat, man. Yes. So for me, it's just that. Mostly fun, and of course, staying home. And I haven't watched a movie in a while. I want to watch a movie, but back then, when I was in high school, I would go the whole night. I can barely finish 10 minutes. Wow. I'll be dozy.
Wow.
You see? So I think, of course, going out for movies sometimes, and yeah, man, that's just that. The usual. I don't have a lot of crazy hobbies to say.
No.
Yeah.
Would you give anyone who's watching a final word of encouragement for those that want to start their own company, for those that want to expand their possibilities and horizons? What final word
do I say? If you're starting a company here in Zimbabwe, legalize your things, right? Just go and register your company. You do your tax clearances. You'll be fine. Zimra will not bother you. But if you don't do that, I guarantee you'll be paying bribes day in and day out, right? For someone who's trying to expand, remember, just because, I'll give you an example. Let's just assume our person who wants to expand owns fuel stations, right? Yes. Just because you have opened 20 garage Bulawayo does not mean you make money if you keep making more garages, right? So it's all about the efficiency of your system, right? Minimize costs, make as much money as possible, but don't forget the operating principle of what you started, right? You started a business, you did not start it. If it means that you are running it, and sometimes you have to incur costs, right? Incur them. Right? We're not saying that by cutting costs, so making sure that you're cutting all corners and whatnot, right? We're saying let's run this thing the right way, but in the process, let's try to minimize on expenses as much as possible, right? It's okay to have directors driving a Honda Fit in a cabin. Not all of them need a GT6, right? So yeah, man, I think for someone who's expanding, that'll be that. Then for that one who's still running in town, trying to figure out what you are doing, that's the song. Ebambelela mngani wami, kuzolunga. Kuzolunga.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Chris, thank you so much once again for your time. And thank you so much for the insights. And to those that are watching, the first commandment in this jungle, what did we call it? Tough jungle.
Yeah, tough jungle.
Yeah, the first rule in this tough jungle is very simple. Wake up, brush your teeth, take a bath, and make as much money as you can, right? And make sure your things are legit, make sure your things are legal, so that the higher ups and the authorities don't bother you. Paying bribes is extremely embarrassing
And expensive.
and it's more expensive than running your own company. So, sir, we hope to see you again so that you give us more insights and more knowledge for us to grow as entrepreneurs. So, with that being said, once again, this is the Becoming Podcast. I'm your host, Romelo Ngwenya. You can call me Roman, Mr. Sabakwena. Please, let's make more money and have fun. Thank you.